The U.S. Open tees off tomorrow at Shinnecock on Long Island, baby, which is where we find ESPN golf analyst Andy North. Let me start with this. This makes me so happy. You have said that you think Tiger can contend this week. Why do you think that?
Well, I think basically, guys, we've seen him improve dramatically from striking the golf ball from the beginning of the season. The last couple of times he's been able to play, he's not now working on how do I swing the club. Now he's back to sort of playing tournament golf again. And we saw at Memorial, he hit the ball just beautifully. I think he's swinging the club as well as he has in years. He's been hitting the ball as well as anybody on tour over the last month or two. Can he make enough putts? And I think when you get to a major championship, a golf course like this, that will help him focus and make more putts.
All right, let's talk about that golf course for a second, Andy. Players, so many of them hated Shinnecock in 2004, including Phil. Why is it back there other than tradition? And is the course set up that much differently now than it was in 2004 in your memory?
Well, in 2004, we were doing the TV that year, and it got away from them. The weather, it blew hard, it was warm, they didn't put enough water on it, and basically the grass and the greens died, and it was out of control completely. This year, it's a much bigger, wider golf course. They've added some length, but they've added 15 to 17 yards on average to every single fairway. So now the players are playing into areas that are 40, 45 yards wide, where in 2004 or 95 or 86, the last three times they played here, they were playing to fairways over 25, 26 yards wide. So driving right now is the easiest it's ever been in this particular site in the U.S. Open. That's going to help the players approach the greens. Very difficult green complexes here. A lot of elevated greens where the ball rolls off, well bunkered. If you're playing from the fairway, you've got a lot better chance to spin the ball and control it on the greens.
Phil Mickelson, who has won everything else in the world there is to win, has never won the U.S. Open, has been close a lot and has undone himself once or twice in this thing. He said he thinks about this all the time. We talked about Tiger. In that generation, we have to talk about Phil. Is Phil a legitimate contender here, Andy?
I really think he is. I think he loves the fact that this is difficult golf. The fairways being wider helps him. He's so good around the green with his flop shots and runners and putting the ball from off the green. You're going to have to do all three of those things here. I think he has enough knowledge of this golf course. I mean, he really should have won in 2004 when he missed a couple of short putts in the 17th hole. He truly believes that he can win this major, and he truly believes he can win majors for another 5 or 6 years.
Wow. Let's talk about somebody who clearly is in his prime, maybe just beginning his prime, Dustin Johnson.
He's your boy.
Who I think should be the favorite in this. Yeah. But, Andy, is there anything about the course that he could struggle with particularly?
Right now, he's really playing well. What he did last week at Memphis was ridiculous. This is a golf course that I think really fits his game so well. One, he's a very straight driver for a guy who hits at 330, 340 yards long. But what Dustin has really learned to do over the last 3 or 4 years is use his distance properly. There's a bunch of holes here. He can hit 2 or 3 iron off the tee and still hit it out there where a lot of the other guys are hitting 3 woods and drivers because of that length. And by doing that, he's going to give himself more opportunities. He's really improved his wedge game. I think Dustin, when he's at his absolute best, he's the best player out here. I don't think there's anybody close other than maybe Rory. So if the way Dustin's playing, he's obviously the favorite.
You hear that, Tony?
No, I hear that. And the course, we'll get you out of here on this. The course has been described to me right now as a course that suits the bombers, and Dustin Johnson is the #1 bomber.
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy, another bomber. Jordan Spieth, not a bomber. Very popular players. Yeah. Tell me about where you think they stand right now, Spieth and McIlroy.
Well, McIlroy, he's so close to Dustin as far as when he's at his best. And we saw him at Bay Hill. He looked just unbeatable there the last couple of rounds at Bay Hill. He hits the ball so far. He's been out here on Long Island for a week playing with his dad and some friends, playing a lot of other golf courses and playing here. He's such a talent. And then you look at Jordan. Jordan plays a different game than those guys do. Jordan is more of a guy that sort of has to fit the ball around, play a little bit smarter, make it up with some short game, that sort of stuff. But Jordan, he's struggled a little bit so far this year. He hasn't been able to score like he's been. He's put a lot of pressure on his putter. and he hasn't putted all that great. So I think you get a good player who's been historically a very good putter, and you put him on tough greens to putt. Usually that helps focus in on what he's doing. He'll probably putt the ball better.
Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Appreciate it. Enjoy
Appreciate it.
yourself.
Thank you very much.
Hey, is LeBron coming to D.C.?
Oh, that's Wilbon's move. That is
my
Wilbon's
theory.
entire move.
I'm going
LeBron
to take
to
credit
DC.
if it happens, Andy.
Then if not, just say somebody else
You
made
got
you
it.
say it.